If you have a loved one, a family member, a relative, or a friend who has passed over, who has died, then I want you to realize that there are ways that you can still have direct personal communication with that person's spirit. It doesn't have to mean that just because they have left the physical body, they have passed over, it doesn't mean that they have ceased to exist. It doesn't mean that your relationship and your connection with them has ended or has been severed. So what I'm going to do in this video is give you 3 methods that can be used to communicate with your loved one. It might be a parent, a sibling, a child, a grandparent, a friend. And these methods can be used by anyone. You don't have to be a psychic or a medium or someone who's into spirituality. You don't even have to believe in God. These methods are methods that can be used by all of us. I really want people to start broadening their horizons and understanding that we're all so much more capable than we have been led to believe. To prepare for this, I want to highlight a few things. We've all been taught and we've all been told, and we live in this reality where we've been told that when someone dies, then, we mourn, we have a funeral, it's very sad, and it's almost as though we behave as though, and we've been taught to believe culturally, that that person is no more. And so there is going to be a set of belief systems and expectations that we all carry that we could do with unpicking. We could benefit from unpicking those belief systems in order to approach the process and your abilities to have this level of communication. And so what I'm going to do up front is give you a small ritual that you can do in preparation for using these 3 methods. So the ritual is going to be this. What I want you to do, first of all, is write out on a piece of paper all of the reasons why this wouldn't work, all of the reasons why you can't speak to your loved one, all of the reasons why you're not capable of doing this or achieving this or experiencing that communication. Put down all of those negative beliefs, all of those limiting beliefs onto a piece of paper. And, be really brutally honest with yourself. The more that you can get down, the better. And we're, admitting to things that maybe we don't want to admit to. You might have some resistance to admitting to these things, but everything that you can get down on that piece of paper that you can bring into conscious awareness is something then that we can remove. It's like pulling out a splinter from your side. Once you bring it into the light of your awareness, then it will start to transform. So once you've got this list on paper of every reason why this would not work, what I want you to do then is to burn this piece of paper, set it on fire. And what we're doing here is we're using a physical ritual. It's a physical alchemical process, which is symbolizing the shifting consciousness that we are making, where we're saying in the burning of that paper that's holding those parts of ourselves that had been holding the beliefs, we're saying, okay, I am choosing to release. I am choosing to let these beliefs go. I am choosing to see that these beliefs actually were not fixed. And I am choosing to enter into a new version of myself, a new experience, and opening up into that opportunity. So burn the piece of paper and understand that it is a symbolism. We're using our experience in physical reality, in physical form, and we're creating a method to represent the shift that we are making in consciousness on the soul level. Once you have burned that up, then what I want you to do is take out another piece of paper and write down on that piece of paper what your dream scenario would be. So write down what you wish to experience. What is the communication that you would love to receive? What are the things that you would really dream to experience as confirmation of the presence and the connection with your loved one? Go into as much specific detail as you possibly can. Think about something that maybe you want to hear from them, or think about a presence or a shift or an emotional state of how that would feel and what it would do for you to have this beautiful conversation or beautiful experience where categorically, yes, I connected with the essence of that person and their spirit. So write this out on paper. We're basically creating a blueprint of exactly what our desires are and what we're wishing to experience. And by doing this, what we're doing is opening up the doors of our perception to A, what is possible for ourselves, and B, actually understanding what it is that we would like to achieve. What are the objectives that we are really seeking? And not only are we clarifying that for ourselves and our own awareness, but we're also simultaneously sending that information to the spirit realm, to the loved one in the non-physical, so that then they can also understand what it is that would really be most impactful and most meaningful to you. And this completes the ritual. So we've burnt up all of the limiting beliefs, and then we spent time writing out on paper all of the dream scenario ideas of what it is that you want, what it is that you would like to experience, connecting with your loved one. Okay. Also, let's just dive a little bit into, following that ritual, understanding what is actually occurring when we have communication with spirits or with loved ones who have passed over. What is actually occurring there? What I would like people to understand is that we are all spiritual beings, and we all exist on the soul level, on the energetic level. And there's a flip in perspective, there's a flip in your understanding of reality that I would like to share. From the soul's perspective, when you incarnate into this reality, it's a little bit like, this is a metaphor I'm going to use, it's a little bit like your soul, your spirit, putting on a VR virtual reality headset and then stepping into a shared virtual reality, this illusion of physical reality, the illusion of the time and space reality. So in truth, your soul and your spirit never actually left the spirit realm, never left the non-physical. We are all spirits having the physical experience through what I have referred to before as like being in a soul robot. Your body is like this machine, like this spiritual technology that we are living out an experience of being in. That's my robot impression. But in truth, we are all spirits, and that never changes. So then when you understand that, okay, so what we have labeled as dying or the death process, what is actually occurring from the other side is like that soul or that spirit is removing their virtual reality VR headset. They're coming out of the physical illusion. What you realize then is that they still very much exist. They exist in the same format that they existed before they incarnated and during their lifetime. And they exist still in the place where we are actually currently still simultaneously existing. That is the place where our consciousness lives. That is the place where our consciousness is actually having this experience of being physical from. What that does is opens up the opportunity to realizing, okay, so it will become easy for us to be able to communicate with our loved one even though they're not in this reality or physically in a body, because we are still living side by side with them in spirit. And once you understand that, then you can see how, that does open options and doors for communication to happen, even though they're not embodied into physical form. It might not be that it's someone who you can have a conversation out loud in the physical or walk up to and give them a physical hug, but there are other ways that we can communicate with the consciousness that we experienced as being here while they were alive. So that's the big shift. Understanding the consciousness still exists. The consciousness is energy. And when you go to approach this problem from the energetic standpoint, from the understanding of our shared divine consciousness, then you know that communication with them is still possible. Okay, amazing. So let's go into the 3 methods then of how anybody can have a experience of communication with a loved one who has passed over. So option number 1, if we are communicating with someone who has passed over. What was number 1? I've got it. Use symbols. Method number 1 is about setting a prayer, set an intention, state a prayer either out loud or in your head to that person, to their energy, and tell them a form of symbology, an image or a number, or maybe it would be an animal, something that you want to see in your reality, in your physical reality, that is going to be a sign from them. If you get something really specific, something that, you don't see very often, so it might be some, I don't know, a yellow elephant or whatever it may be, think of something that is very unusual that you're not seeing day to day, and state this in a prayer to your loved one to say, if you are here, if you are hearing me, if you are with me still, then show me this symbol in my reality. Send that prayer out, send that to them as an intention, and know that they are hearing you. And then wait and see what happens. Over the next few days, it may be weeks, what I am going to predict that will happen is this symbol will be drawn into your reality, into your conscious awareness. Because you've set the intention of communicating with them, they can help and guide and lead you, and your own spirit will guide you towards that moment where you see this particular symbol that you had made up. And in that moment, what you will feel is an emotional nudge, an emotional connection. In the moment that you see it or experience it, you will feel your heart and your body will shift, and you'll feel the presence of that person in that moment as you acknowledge and understand, this is the symbol that I asked for. This is what I have been wanting to experience as the proof of their existence, the proof of their communication, the proof of their presence being here with me. This can be done by anyone. Send it out just as a prayer. This is not a religious prayer. I'm just saying you need to have the intention. Set it out like a declaration, either out loud or in your head, and see what unfolds. If it doesn't happen immediately, then don't get disheartened. Stick with it. Keep repeating the prayer. If you feel like they haven't heard, then send out that connection to them and know that they can hear you, know that they are there, and they will be bringing this magic, this mini miracle will be coming into your field. So that's method number 1, asking for a symbol. Method number 2, So, this is going to be more of a meditative type experience. So, what I would recommend you do is find somewhere that is quiet and peaceful where you can take a bit of time in a meditative kind of state away from other people, away from distractions. And what you're going to do is spend about a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, thinking about this person and meditate on that person. Think about what did they sound like? Allow yourself to hear their voice. Allow yourself to hear their laugh. Allow yourself to feel the energy and the essence of that person there with you now. How did you feel? What feeling did you have in your body when you were in the company of this person? Every single person has a unique frequency, a unique aura, which is a bubble of energy around them. It's almost like, imagine every person has like this hamster ball that exists around them, it's surrounding them. And that is a unique energy frequency of their consciousness. And when we are in the physical presence of someone, what we are actually doing is stepping into their frequency. We are stepping into their hamster ball of energy, and they are stepping into ours. And so, on the subliminal, subtle levels of energy, when we're in the physical presence of someone, we are feeling their energy. There is a shift in our body, in our emotions, that are resonant with who that person is. So allow yourself, allow your body, allow your energy system, allow your emotions to shift into that feeling state, that version of you, how it felt to be in that person's company. And as you do this, what you are doing is bringing in the energy, bringing in the essence of that person's spirit, which still exists, into your spirit and into your energetic space. So while they may not be physically in front of you, what you can do is welcome in the frequency, the vibration, the essence of that person into your space, into your being, into your heart. We're opening the heart chakra here. And then once you feel like you've had this connection with really sensing into the essence and the energy of this person, this loved one, then either think out loud or either think in your head or say it out loud, a message that you would like to say to them. If they were here with you now, what would you say? And allow yourself to go to that place of really deepening into the emotion of what is the message that you would want to share. Once you have shared that, whatever it may be, once you have opened up and given them your message, then what I want you to do is imagine, put yourself into their shoes, put yourself into the mind of your loved one, and just say to yourself, if I was them and knowing their essence, knowing their energy, what would I imagine they would say to me in response? How would they respond? And just see what answers come to you. At first, this will feel like, oh, well, I'm just making that up. That's not real. But actually, what you will find is that as you open yourself energetically to imagining, well, what would they say? How would they respond to me? What you'll find is the thought or the idea that pops into your head in that moment will be the thought that they are projecting into your energy field. So they will actually plant the seed of the thought that you will have in your mind. This may take a bit of practice to overcome your own skepticism or your own doubts. So at first, just give yourself permission. Allow yourself to just feel like, well, I'm just going to do it and I'm just going to see what ideas come to me and I'm just going to make it up at first. The first few times you do it, it will feel like, well, I'm just making this up. And if you think that and you feel that, then you're doing it exactly perfectly right. Stick with this. Try it every day for 1 week. And by the end of the week, what you will realize is actually the thoughts and the ideas and the responses that you're getting when you just allow yourself to feel into that person's energy and just open your mind to say, how would I imagine that they would respond? From everything I know about that person, what do I think they would say? And in that response that you get, in those thoughts that you spontaneously hear, that is where the presence of your loved one lies. That is where the magic of direct communication exists. And eventually, if you kept this up as a regular practice, what you can do is take that experience to build up a level of confidence in yourself, of your ability to do that. And over time, you would quite quickly probably find that you're able to have a fairly fluent conversation where you are coming with either questions or messages, and then you open and allow yourself to imagine or daydream their response. And then you think, oh, okay, this is, I think, what they would say. And you will find that you can have fairly coherent conversations with the spirit of your loved one who is in the non-physical. It's almost like just being able to get over the first hurdle of that doubt and that skepticism that we are all holding, which is natural for something that you haven't done before and you've been told that you can't do. So know that that is a normal and natural part of this process. And through repetition, you will be able to receive those ideas coming from the spirit of that loved one who you had thought or believed yourself to be separated from. In fact, they are always with you. Think of them and they are there. So play around with this. Don't get disheartened if at first you don't get the result that maybe you had hoped for. Keep sticking with it, practice it, and know that as you build up a little bit of confidence with it, then that will go a long way to actually increasing the amount of information or the amount of connection that you can receive, that you can experience. Okay, amazing. So then moving on to the third and final method. So in this method, what we are actually going to do is use the dream time to have an experience of being with your loved one. What I want you to do is this. As you lay in bed before you go to sleep, or you could do this technically before having a nap, if you're a napper. Before you fall asleep, as you lay in bed, state a prayer in your mind and say, tonight, in my sleep, in my dream time, I want to have an experience of being with my loved one. Send that prayer out to them, to your own higher consciousness, to the universe, to the divine. Ask for the assistance of any spiritual beings that you may feel a connection to or you feel a draw towards. Ask them to be there, to be present, to help you experience this, help you fulfill this wish. And the final thing to add is the statement, I will remember this when I wake up. I will remember this when I wake up. And this is really important because we're all having dreamtime experiences of the multi-dimensional layers of our consciousness. But for most people, that information, that data, is not being downloaded. So when you wake up, you can't remember. So the chances are you're already having experiences with your loved one in your dream time, in the non-physical, but you're not remembering them when you wake up in the morning. So by deliberately setting this intention, by setting this prayer, by calling on them before you go to sleep and stating this declaration to say, I will remember this when I wake up, then what you're doing is you're creating and manifesting this experience of being able to download that information, of basically the experiences from the dream time, waking up and having that memory, that data restored or intact. Again, with this, if it doesn't happen the very first time, don't worry. Try it again. Keep going with it. It may be that after 2 or 3 or 4 nights, then you will wake up and you will have had a dreamtime experience of being able to be physically there with your loved one. Well, I say physically, obviously it's happening in the non-physical level, in the energy body level. This is like 4th dimension of consciousness or reality. You will be able to have experiences where you are experiencing themselves as, or them as being stood in front of you or talking with you. You will be able to hug them. You will be able to embrace them as you would have while they were still alive. With the dreamtime experiences, my advice would be this. As soon as you wake up and you have a memory or an inkling of, oh my gosh, I've just been in the presence of my loved one, or I just remember, oh, there was this image, write it down as quickly as you can. Either get your phone and put it in a note, or send it in a text message, or if you have pen and paper, write it down on paper. The quicker you can do that, the more likely you are able to anchor down that information, that data, into physical reality. If you try to recall the information 2, 3, 4 hours later, the chances are that window between the physical and non-physical will have closed, and you're going to probably struggle to remember what had occurred. So while you're still in this fresh waking moment where there is this window and this channel of energetic connection between your physical existence and your non-physical, write it down then. That will really cement it into this layer of your consciousness, into the 3rd dimensional rational reasoning mind layer, which will then mean that you have that information and you have that memory which is accessible to you in this band of frequency, in this layer of reality. Have a go, explore, experiment. These tips are intended to be something that is fun and playful. So see what works for you. If you feel more drawn to one of these techniques, then go for that one first. Follow your intuition, follow your guidance. And like I said at the beginning, if you feel like you're hitting blocks with this, or you're not getting any joy, then do that fire ritual, which will help you to release the parts of you that are in resistance to having this experience. But what I really want everyone to realize is these methods of communication are available to everyone. Every person can do this. Every person can experience this. And in truth, your loved ones on the other side are ready and waiting and wanting to have a more direct, a more like deeper, intensified connection with you, where they can reassure you, they can let you know of their presence, they can give you some support, even from the non-physical layers of reality. If this information has brought up any questions, then please leave a comment and let me know. It would be really useful for me to know and understand which parts of this do people want more information about, or which other questions you might have that I can answer in other videos, or if this information has been really useful to you, or you have a lot of success, then please share that success. I would love to hear about that. Or you can obviously like the video, subscribe to the channel. It would be great for me to have some kind of feedback loop to understand, yes, this has helped people, or these are the questions that people have who have watched this, or these are the next steps that people are wanting to explore more or know more information about. That would be amazing for me to receive that feedback so that I can respond and share more of the knowledge I have based on what is going to be useful for you. Thanks for watching, and enjoy, experiment, and know that your loved ones are here. This is the beautiful, joyful realization. This is the magic and the miracles happening in real time. Your loved ones are here. If there's been a loved one who you have been thinking about throughout the duration of watching this video, then they want you to know that they are here with you now. Like, I'm almost seeing this image of people watching this, and the spirit of your loved one, as you've watched this, is there with you during the process of you listening to this content. When things get very trippy. They are here and they love you, and yeah, have fun, enjoy exploring and connecting with them.